That's what's happening there. We're going to do is pretty much a triple threat video here. First things first, we're going to press those bushings in those lower or rear control arms. Number two, change out the shocks and get the last spring out of the rear. And start that now. Glad to be back on videos again. It's been a long time. Yeah, that's about it. So let's get out to the back of the car. I'll show you how to change out your rear shocks on your third gen. It's pretty easy to do. So let's get out there. Now I'm going to tell you now is changing your shocks out is pretty easy to do, but it's also a risk thing. Like I'm going to show you here, I recommend when you go to take your shocks off, because they are really what's holding the rear end onto the car, from what I see, and to keep your springs from shooting out. Get the car jacked up and get it on jack stands, and have all this fucking ready, you know, because as soon as you drop that bottom bolt, man, this whole rear will probably go with it. So, and I already have my springs out, well, except for that one over there. We're going to get to that in a minute. But your bottom bolt there should be a 7/8, or what is this, 7/8? Yeah, it's a 7/8 bolt at the bottom. And up top, it's a little more of a hassle to get to your top bolt, but you gotta bring this out, pop this off, and you'll see a piece of foam here, and you'll pop that out. There will be the top bolt to your shock there, and that should be a let me see here, should be maybe it's a 5/8. Let me see. Yeah, 5/8. It's a 5/8 socket at the top and a 7/8 bolt at the bottom. Now, I don't know how good the shock is going to come out. I don't know if I got to hold a wrench there or what. But that bolt head, I think at one time there was a bolt head there. I don't know. But I sprayed some penetrating oil on it, and if this spins while I'm trying to take that out, then I'm just going to have to cut it. The new shocks do come with the hardware. The ones I picked up I'll show you soon. But first things first, let's get this shock out. Alright, good old moment of truth. Let's see if it pops out. Little panther piss on there. Go. Wrong way. What do you know? Came out easy. Alright then. Slide that out of the way. And now we will drop it from the top here. So let's get you another view from the top. Alright, now time to get the top one here, and like I said, it's a 5/8, so get this broken loose real quick. And that's out. And there's my old shock. And I believe this is the original shock too, straight from GM. I can't tell, that tag's all rotted. So when the thing is, I'm not even using any pressure to do that. That means it's way old. I think this is the original GM shock too. So let me get the new shocks and I'll show you what I'm using on it and the option that I picked up. So, be right back. Alright, now the shocks I picked up are KYB Excel G. In the front, I got, you know, the front struts or shocks, whatever you want to call them. They're KYB GR2s, and you can go pick up replacement shocks at your local auto parts store. I ordered these because I wanted to, and they come with the hardware for the top, the nut and all. And you got your brand new shock in here. Gonna get it out, as you can see. And you know, I know KYB is a pretty reputable company. You know, like these are what I went with because, you know, I did the same in the front. They come with the instructions and all too, and they have them. You know, for everybody else, they've got about, I don't know, 20 different languages to go by on here. So it's easy installation. You know, first we'll get this all apart, and I'll show you how to set it up and put the other shock in. And we'll take the other side off too and do the same. And we'll take the springs out and show you the rest. So, here. Alright, now hooking up your, you know, putting the bushings and all on your rear, on your new rear shock is pretty much referenced from your old shock. Damn, this thing is worn. Watch this. I sure the finger. I still can't believe that. Anyway, As you see here, there was rubber bushing at the top, and there's also rubber at the bottom and a bolt. Now, I recommend you don't use your old hardware. I mean, I like to use new hardware on every part I replace if I can. And first things first, you'll take these out, and you'll see that there is the nut right here, and the washers and the bushings. And you see here, first thing is take the washer down at the bottom, and then the bushing. And then when it goes up top, we'll have the other piece of rubber up top with the washer to tighten it down on. And then what this washer does, it helps dissipate this rubber bushing out, because when you go to tighten, these two are going to flatten, and you don't want to have them too tight. You just want to have it enough. I mean, I've seen people torque them. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to have them about tight enough. I'm not going to have the torque too high set on the impact gun. I mean, that goes up to 400 foot-pounds, but I'm probably only going to have it set to like 250 maybe. And and the same goes for as the bottom. And the bottom actually has more stuff with it than what the stock has for hardware. But it's all pretty much matching. I mean, anything I need here. What I like is it does come with lock washers, which is pretty cool. All you do is the same as just slide this through here, and this end here goes through the back, and then as it's up against the control arm, you can put on your lock washer and your nut. And then from the back, where it bolts on here, you can actually take this, same thing, washer and lock washer and nut, screw it right together. I'm doing this, let me get a better shot of it. And there you go. And I actually like this design better than this, I guess you would call that a flush nut there? I don't know. But this looks better than that, because at least you can hold the wrench at the back, and if this breaks and just starts spinning, then you got no other choice than to just cut it. But anyway, let's get the shocks hooked up and see, and we'll get on to the other side, and I'll show you how to take out this spring on the driver's side. It was a pain in the ass, what I have to do to it, but I'll get it figured out. So, alright, now first things first, we're going to get the top of the shock up at that hole of glory right there. And yes, I'm doing this with one hand, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to do. There we go. Make sure it lines up there. My fingers. There we go. Alright, now I got it right here. Let me set the camera up for you. Hang on. Alright, now that you got the top set in place, we're going to take the bottom shock and use the good old hardware here. And over at the other side, goes through just like that. Goes in through the bottom there first. You're going to leave that spacer towards the back. You're going to slide that in there. Take the washer and lock washer, nut, get them screwed on to right about there for now, and then we'll get the other side too. What I'm thinking about doing with the other side is, before I put the over here, I'm thinking about putting a washer on that side, just because it looks better, because they got a washer there. But, I think it would have been nice if they would have given me another one, So I'm going to go grab another washer. Alright, now that I'm back, like I said, the old size on the original is, like last time, is a 7/8. That's the same as on this in the front, or in the back of the shock here. So you can take the same size, the 7/8 socket here. And the front up here where that nut is, it is actually a 3/4 size. So you need a 3/4 wrench up front here, and a 7/8 socket in the back, or you can do a 3/4 up front. I don't care. Like I've told my other friends and all, like I've done same too, is you don't always need to do your springs and your shocks. I mean, your springs do last a pretty long time. I just figured since I'm going to be down here and doing this, I'd replace my springs too. If you just replace your shocks in the front and the rear, you will feel a great difference in ride, and you know, and doing that, and just replacing the bushings and all like such. The Torcon bushings there too, you know. That's like I did on my Jeep here. I put brand new shocks in the front and the rear of this thing, and you know, it handles like a dream now. So yeah, if you ever want to try and do this, it isn't too hard doing your front and rear shocks. I mean, the only thing is, like I said, keep your rear supported when you go to take out your shock, and up front you got to be a little more careful because the front shock up there actually holds the whole control arm and the spindle and the spring in place. So you want to keep also a jack on that to keep the spring from shooting out from under. Otherwise, you're opening up a whole can of worms. You're going to need a spring compressor and everything. So, I mean, but, you know, if you got a rough ride in 3rd gen and you want to try it, man, just change out your shocks and you'll feel a good difference. So, let me get this tightened up and I'll be right back. Alright, now same as replacing your, doing your top shock. The first thing is, you know, get your bushing up there, and then set your washer in place. And I always like to start a screw off by hand, or I mean a nut. And I'll take the good old gun here, the good old zip gun, and we'll tighten this down as well. And I'll look at it and check it and make sure, you know, as soon as it's nice and pressed down, it is nice and tight and ready to go. So, and the same is as the other size. It is a 5/8 bolt, and it worked. You know, it fits right on. So there you go, guys. That's replacing your rear shocks, done nice and easy. So now we'll move on to the spring. Alright, so as I was saying, I ran into a little bit of problem here trying to compress this spring. Passenger side is easy, the driver's side not so much because of this thing here. I don't know what it's called. I think it's like the Panhard bar, or maybe it's another version of the rear sway bar. Maybe Raz D knows, or probably Woods 040. You probably know what this thing is, man. I don't know what it does. I don't know the name of it. But when I go to have my spring compressor hooked up here, I can only get it through here. But you see this bracket leaves me no room. And even if I do unbolt that, it's still welded here. So, back when I was talking to my Uncle Ron, he suggested to me, you know, one thing that he has done is unbolt the shock, have a jack hold it, lower the jack down. Now we'll lower out the spring and then let it drop out and put the new spring in, jack it up to compress the spring, or use the spring compressor, bolt it under here with the, where is it, little shoehorn deal, whatever you want to call that, and then jack it back up, bolt the new shock in at the same time, and there you go, you're good. So that is what I'm going to do exactly, and I guess I'll walk you through it. So if anybody else has this on their Camaro and want to figure out how to take out the passenger or the driver's side spring, here's my way of doing it. Well, the way my good old Uncle Ron taught me. So just sit back and watch. Alright, now we're going to try the moment of truth. I'm going to get a little bit of panther piss here on this bolt, and we are going to hope that this spring does not come flying out at me when I go to loosen this shock here. I got enough tension on the rear to where I jacked it up a little bit. You know, it's more the weight of the rear end's on the jack than it is off the car and the looseness, so. man. Alright, looks like we're doing good so far. That came out. Pop the shock out of the way. And let's lower the rear and hope that the spring falls out with it. Let me get the good old screwdriver here. And lower this down real slow and hope nothing bad happens. And there we go. The spring's actually loose. And it comes right out. What do you know? Uncle Ron was right. So let me go grab the new spring now before I pop the shock back on, and we'll do that real quick. So I'll be back, guys. Alright, so now I got my rear springs here. I picked them up at Napa and were made by Moog. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was either 100 spoke riders or 77 spoke riders, something like that. You're doing in El Camino and you're doing just the same as I am here, man. And you picked up what I thought maybe I should have picked up instead was the heavy duty springs for my car, but I just picked up the OEM replacement. But yeah, I'm looking at them though, but looks like there's more of a more meat there than what it is the original. I mean, unless it's just an illusion effect, I don't know. But they're the same height, so that's good. You know, and also too, man, I like what you picked up, those load adjusting shocks. They're fucking cool looking, man. I'd love to put them on the back of my car. But anyway, I'm gonna pop both springs in. The other side I'll be able to use a spring compressor on, and you know, be able to put that in. And if you're taking apart your third gen and this falls out with your springs, it's I believe it's called donut. I don't know. That's what I'm calling it, the little rubber donut. Go ahead and put that back in with it, because I think you need that. And I'm going to clean mine up a little bit. It's like a rubber covering over top of metal. I'll probably clean this up, put some paint on it. Do the same for the other side. Replacement, I don't know if they carry a replacement. I think you can get away with a spring booster. But then again, I could be wrong. So don't take too much shit seriously. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to clean this up since this isn't in too bad a shape and get some good paint on this metal to keep it from rusting anymore. So I'll be right back after that. figured since I did it on the other side, I may as well do it the same way too, instead of going through the hassle of using that fucking sprinkler. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. There you go. That's how you change out the rear springs and shocks on your 82 to 92 third gen Camaro. Ain't that hard to do. Now I'm off to do rear control arms or trailing arms, whatever you call them.